It's 1 o'clock on Wednesday, and I'm just sitting down to do my latest Cobh News article. The agreement I have with Kieran about the Cobh News thing means that this article should, and I use that word deliberately, should have been with him yesterday. But I've been struggling. If you've listened to my last article, you will know that I was struggling for a while, and I felt a lot better 2 weeks ago, and I still feel a lot better than I did a month ago, which means what I said 2 weeks ago is still true, but it has still continued to be a struggle, and I've had a couple of very difficult days. But that's okay. A long time ago, I tried to delete the word should from my vocabulary, having read and done the Artist Way course and book from Julia Cameron. And she talks not about how should has a kind of chore connotation attached to it. If we're thinking I should do this, I should do that, then it feels like a chore and it makes it much more difficult to do. So I have been quite successful in deleting that from my vocabulary, but in the last couple of weeks that has been at play. As you know, I run a small business, and when things come in for a business, there's always a thought of I should do that. When your mental health is not great, that should feeling becomes magnified, and it becomes that huge challenge about I should do that, I don't want to do that. I've had experience in the last couple of weeks where getting out of bed feels quite challenging most days. Having said that, when I'm up, I'm good, but it's that I should get up, I should do this, I should do that. Even things like brushing my teeth, I should brush my teeth. And when you think should, it becomes harder. Having said that, there was learning in trying to change that vocabulary, and I've always taken the view, or for a long time at least taken the view with my mental health, that there's learning opportunities within a mental health challenge as well, and I 100% that's true. So what I want to talk about for a little while now is the learning that has come from the last couple of weeks, which have been challenging, and my mental health definitely hasn't been great. So the first learning that came from it is that I'm exhausted. And I am exhausted, and I don't think it's just because this year has been challenging for lots of people, and the last month building up to the crash down I was very busy and very challenging. I think it's more to do with that my life has had challenges like everybody's had for the last number of years. That includes death, a relationship breakup, a realigning of my life, and loads of other things, and I think that's just caught up with me. So that's the learning. I'm exhausted. A relearning from that is that this is something that I've done all my life, that I work really hard and push myself, and for a long time I would have struggled to say no to people, was doing too many things, so I get exhausted quite regularly, and that relearning is important, to try and remember that don't try not to go there again. But the big learning from being exhausted for me is that I can take it easy. For a very long time I couldn't do that. Again, doing the Artist Way a number of years ago, I found the biggest challenge was doing nothing. When you're somebody like me, and lots of us are like this, you are very busy, and there's an element of that for me with my mental health, that I was running away from things, and those distractions are really good. But I've learned again the last couple of weeks that I can take it easy. I can sit and just listen to music. I can sit and read when my concentration levels are low. That sometimes with the mental health being great, not great, the concentration levels are difficult. But I can sit and just watch a movie, and I can just sit and enjoy people's company. So that's been really good learning as well. The two biggest things I've learned in the last couple of weeks, and these are really important. One is that I'm not alone, and that might sound very, very obvious, but when your mental health goes, there is a sense that I'm on my own, I'm lost. I saw Paul Merson interviewed recently, and he talked about addiction, and he said addiction wants you on your own, and that's true of a mental health issue. It wants you on your own, and part of that process is it convinces you that you are on your own. That is not true, and have I learned that in the last couple of weeks big time. The amount of people who have reached out to me in some form or fashion. I had a Facebook post last Friday about not feeling great, and I don't know what the numbers are, I don't watch numbers, but lots of people reached out and sent me a little comment saying, chin up Stan, or I'm with you Stan, or I feel you Stan, or you're not the only one Stan, and look after yourself, and etc, etc. And then some people went a little bit, let's go with a little bit further, and sent a private message. I had a lovely little conversation with a friend of mine that I haven't seen for years, who lives in America. He reached out, said, how are you doing? I'm struggling myself. And we had a nice little chat, and those things always help. I got a postcard this morning from a friend of mine up the country, just saying we're here for you, which was lovely, and a number of people have actually picked up the phone. Interestingly, And my twin sister found this very interesting, and I'll talk about her a little bit more in a second. I've had a number of phone calls from men. Now, I've had phone calls from women as well, but I think in this world that we live in, people think that men don't want to talk about these things, and particularly about mental health, or men don't want to really talk about that. I've had a number of phone calls from men to say, look, I'm here for you. I know you're struggling. If you want to pick up the phone and give me a shout anytime, please do. If you want to come down and have a cup of coffee, please do. And a number of those phone calls actually have come from people that I served in the naval service with, which is really interesting. Because you would think that, the Navy, testosterone-filled environment, that wouldn't be the case. But yes, and even John O'Mahony, who I haven't seen in 20 years, picked up the phone and said, this is a social call, Stan. I'm not looking for anything for you, I just want to connect. And those things are so important for the soul. They make you realise you're not alone, that people do care, and they give you a little lift. So I want to say thank you to John and Mick and Richie and Maria Gillen and anybody else who picked up the phone, and anybody else who sent a private message, and anybody else who commented, because it does actually help. So thank you so much for that. Very that people care, and they want you to be well, and they want to help you to be well if they can. She did at one stage, I have to say to me, please don't do anything stupid. I don't want you to be gone out of the world. I'm not in any danger of that, thank God, and I was glad to be able to tell her that. So they're my thoughts for this week. I hope you are doing well out there. I hope that if this does help somebody, that would be great. It certainly helped me just to sit here and do that. If you take nothing from it apart from the idea of trying to take the word should out of your vocabulary, I'd be absolutely thrilled. I will tell you that up until yesterday my brain was saying I should do the Cobh News article about my Cork Christmas cards. I should be getting them out into the world. It's getting close to Christmas, so I should make people aware of them. I should be selling them. But you know what? Right now, at this precise moment in time, selling is not really that important to me. Being well is important to me. My creativity is important to me. Being around people is important to me. Connecting with people. So if you're out there and you're struggling, and you want to reach out to me, reach out to me. I'm very easy to get online. It's an unusual name. And if it's not me you reach out to somebody. Find the things that are good for you. Try and focus on them, because they are the things that will keep you well and serve you well and make your life better. And that really is what it's about. So that's it. I'm done. I'm just going to read you the Ella Fitzgerald poem, and I will share the artwork with you. And hopefully I'll talk to you in 2 weeks' time. We'll be very close to Christmas at that stage, and hopefully all our lives will be a lot better at that stage. So if you have been listening, thank you so much for listening, and talk to you soon. This is Can't Help Loving That Man, after Ella Fitzgerald. All my life, all the things you are, bewitched everything I've got. Always, come rain or shine, your azure angel eyes, too marvellous for words, told me I've got my love to keep me warm. Day in, day out, love walked in fascinating rhythms to accentuate the positive, make skylarks sing in my heart about us in April, in Paris, under a blanket of blue skies, just sitting and rocking cheek to cheek while thinking, this could be the start of something big. I'm a lucky so-and-so, such a fine romance was written in the stars for me. So good night, my love. Dream a little dream of me, because this time the dream's on me. And I'm going to sign off with that. Take care, my friends. Be safe, be well, enjoy your life as best you can. And like I said, if you are struggling, please reach out. And if you want to reach out to me, please do.